Two friends go on vacation together. They eat at the same restaurants, visit the same places, and watch the same sunset. But by the time they get home, one of them has already posted 20 pictures online. The other hasn't posted a single thing. And if you've ever been around someone like that, you've probably wondered why. Are they just private? Do they secretly hate social media? Are they introverted? Or have they figured out something that the rest of us, endlessly scrolling and posting and checking notifications, still haven't? Because the psychology of people who never post on social media is much more complicated than most people realize. And whether you're someone who shares every weekend or someone who hasn't posted in years, by the end of this video, you might understand yourself or someone close to you a little differently. Most people think posting on social media is simple. You take a picture, write a caption, hit post. But psychologists have found that posting online is not just about sharing memories. A study published in Computers and Human Behavior found that one of the biggest reasons people post online is something psychologists call impression management, our natural desire to influence how other people see us. Think about it. Every photo, every story, every caption says something. Without realizing it, we're telling people, this is who I am. This is what my life looks like. This is what matters to me. We're not just sharing moments. We're presenting a version of ourselves. And that's what makes people who don't post so interesting, because consciously or unconsciously, they've stepped away from that system. But here's the mistake people make. They assume everyone who doesn't post is the same. They're not. In fact, psychologists have divided them into 3 different groups. Type 1, the private person. You've probably met someone like this. They'll tell you stories about an amazing trip they took 6 months ago, and you'll think, wait, when did that happen? The answer is simple. It happened. They just never posted it. For some people, social media feels less like sharing and more like exposure. Researchers studying personality have found that some people have a much stronger need for privacy and personal boundaries than others. To them, meaningful experiences don't become more valuable because hundreds of people saw them online. They know they enjoyed the vacation. They don't need a comment section to confirm it. Imagine 2 friends at a concert. One spends half the night recording videos. The other leaves with almost no photos. The difference isn't that one enjoyed the concert more than the other. They simply experience the moment differently. For the private person, some memories feel more special when they stay personal. Type 2, the silent observer. This type is surprisingly common. They have Instagram, they have TikTok, they watch stories. They know exactly what's happening in everyone else's life. But when it comes to posting, they disappear. And here's why. For many people, posting online feels strangely vulnerable. You spend 10 minutes choosing the right picture, another 5 minutes writing the caption. Then your mind starts asking questions. What if nobody likes it? What if people think I'm trying too hard? What if I look awkward? Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. It's our tendency to believe that people notice and judge us much more than they actually do. The truth is, most people spend far less time thinking about your post than you imagine. But our brains don't always believe that. And for some people, the possibility of being judged, even in a small way, is enough to keep them silent. So they watch, they scroll, they consume, but they rarely contribute. Because contributing means being seen, and being seen means being evaluated. Type 3, the independent thinker. This third group might be the most misunderstood. Researchers who study self-determination theory have found that human beings have 3 basic psychological needs: connection, competence, and autonomy. Many people satisfy those needs online. They post updates, share achievements, receive feedback, and there's nothing wrong with that. But some people meet those same needs somewhere else. Through close friendships, through family, through meaningful work, through hobbies that nobody else sees. They don't avoid social media because they're antisocial. They avoid depending on it for validation. For them, happiness isn't something that has to be announced. It's something that can exist quietly. Now, before we go any further, there's something important to understand. None of these groups is automatically happier. And not posting doesn't always mean someone is confident or emotionally healthy. Sometimes staying silent online comes from fear. Sometimes it comes from low self-esteem. Sometimes it comes from anxiety. And sometimes it really is just a preference. From the outside, Those reasons can look exactly the same. That's why it's dangerous to assume that everyone who rarely posts has figured life out. Human behavior is much more complicated than that. What makes this conversation even more interesting is what researchers have discovered about social media itself. In 2018, researchers at the University of Pennsylvania asked participants to reduce their social media use to about 10 minutes per platform each day. By the end of the study, the participants reported lower levels of loneliness and depression. Other studies have found that endlessly scrolling through other people's lives can increase social comparison and make people feel worse about their own. And when you think about it, that makes sense. Social media gives us thousands of opportunities every day to compare our appearance, relationships, careers, and lifestyles to people we barely know. The people who rarely post may not have completely escaped that cycle, but in many cases they've chosen to participate in it less, and that decision quietly changes the way they experience the world. Let's make this personal. Imagine you go out for dinner with friends. The food arrives. Before anyone takes a bite, phones come out, pictures are taken, stories are uploaded, captions are written. Then you look across the table and notice that one person hasn't touched their phone. They're laughing, talking, completely present. Maybe they're shy, maybe they're anxious, or maybe they've simply decided that not every meaningful moment needs an audience. And perhaps that's the real question this video is asking. When you post online, what are you really looking for? Connection? Validation? Attention? Memories? And when you don't post, is it because you genuinely prefer privacy or because you're afraid of being seen? Only you know the answer. Today's 1% challenge. For the next 3 days, I don't want you to post more often, and I don't want you to stop using social media either. Instead, I want you to pay attention to the moments when you reach for your phone. Maybe you're about to post a picture, maybe you're about to upload a story, or maybe you decide not to post anything at all. When that happens, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what am I looking for right now? Are you trying to share something meaningful? Are you looking for a connection, or are you hoping for validation? And if you choose not to post, ask yourself another question. Is this coming from peace or from fear? There's no right or wrong answer. The goal of this challenge isn't to change your behavior overnight. It's simply to help you understand yourself a little better. Try it for the next 3 days and come back to the comments and tell me what you discovered. You might be surprised by the answer. If this video helped you understand yourself a little better, I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.